She shrieked, "This land is mine." You ever hear something so bold, you have to laugh just to keep your sanity? That was me, standing on my porch, boots barely dusted off from moving in, watching a woman in a blazer act like she was the sheriff of some Wild West HOA. I hadn't even made it a week on my little slice of ranch before the parade started, folks in reflective vests circling my fence like they were casing a bank. Suddenly my porch was their stage, my gravel driveway their courtroom, and somehow I was cast as the villain, guilty before I even knew the rules of this little community theater. Neighbors peeked out from behind curtains, whispering about community standards, pointing at my barn and fence, scribbling in those cheap spiral notebooks they pretend are official. You know what I mean? So I'm minding my own business, installing a saddle rack by the barn, when this HOA patrol vehicle, literally marked community standards, rolls right up to my property. Out steps Meline, looking me and my barn up and down with that expression you only see on people who never had to build anything themselves. She slams a folder down on my fence post like she's a judge. That barn and fence are blocking the shared mountain view for our community. I set my hammer down, poured a glass of lemonade, and honestly had to bite my tongue. Next door, Rebecca just shakes her head and goes back to weeding, like she's seen this circus before and already knows the punchline. I double-checked my deed that night, spreading it under the kitchen lamp. Plain as day, my property was never, not once, part of any HOA plat. But Meline, she's running her own script. She comes back waving self-printed view corridor guidelines and tells me I'm obligated to lower my barn. She's so sure community wants outweigh private ownership. She's almost convincing herself. Lady, that's not how property law works. But she's not listening. And then the trespassing starts. One morning, I spot a freshly dug drainage trench. Wet soil, raw earth, clearly cut from their side of the fence onto mine. No warning, no permission. I start documenting, snapping photos, logging rainfall, setting up a simple rain gauge. Meline shows up again, red in the face, hollering about community rights. I just stand there, camera in hand, calm as I can manage, telling her the law's not on her side. She signals her little patrol car to shine headlights on my porch, like that's supposed to rattle me. It gets weirder. Next, I find a glossy flyer stuck on my door, Community View and Safety Day, showing my barn circled in red. Says we're all voluntarily clearing brush and lowering fences for fire safety. Except the flyers got photos taken over my fence without my say-so. Then, I find a fresh wooden survey stake in the dirt, store sticker still on it. Rebecca comes over, gives it a once-over, says, someone's been busy. She's a forensic accountant. Nothing slips by her. She finds faint green dye in the drainage, sniffs it, makes a face. They're tracing water flow on your land. Without permission. Sure enough, that night, she catches HOA volunteers pouring green liquid by flashlight, trying to prove runoff goes through my property. That stings, not gonna lie. Feels like a setup. But Rebecca, being smart, suggests we run our own experiment with a hose on a dry day. Sure enough, the green dye shoots right through their trench into my land. Now I've got 3 neighbors watching, 1 filming. They were doing this behind all our backs. Somebody mutters, and suddenly the vibe shifts. It's not just me versus HOA anymore. There's witnesses, there's evidence, there's real outrage. That night, the phone rings, heavy breathing, then a whisper, stop tracing. Click. No caller ID, just the sound of someone getting scared I might prove too much. The next day, Stephen from County Range Management calls to check on me. You know these fire safety patrols are supposed to be certified, right? Not some volunteer club. Meline shows up with 5 folks in new yellow vests, all clipboards, no credentials, trying to hand me a fake citation printed on cheap computer paper. Stephen pulls up in his county truck, badge and all, and calls them out for impersonating fire officials. You ever see someone get caught in a lie so big their friends start backing away? That was Meline's crew, peeling off their vests, looking for an exit. Stephen points to a raw tree stump, fresh cut. What sap? This was done recently to move the boundary marker. No permit, no approval. He writes it up as property damage, boundary tampering. Then he tags the illegal mulch pile they dumped on my land as a fire hazard. By now, the HOAs fake their way into a corner, every move making it worse for them. But they don't quit. Meline circulates a Preserve Our Mountain Views petition, gets 20 signatures from people who don't know the law, starts arranging wellness checks on me like I'm some dangerous loner, just to paint me as unstable. Neighbors start showing up, saying they're worried about my stress levels. Maybe I should compromise. I spread my deed and survey maps on the kitchen table. No HOA restrictions, no obligations, just facts. A few neighbors admit they've been lied to. I hold a little open porch session, show them the water tests and Steven's official maps. The truth starts spreading. It gets cinematic. Deputy Luke shows up to document the harassment and property violations. I'm nervous. If the test fails, I'm the paranoid new guy. But after 20 minutes, that green dye erupts in my water pit, clear as day, undeniable. Even the HOA's tech asks to keep photos for the record and schedules a formal investigation for illegal storm water modifications. Soon, it's a county-level case. Official vehicles, clipboards, cameras. Meline tries to wave a forged stop work order with a fake county seal, but the inspector doesn't blink. Ma'am, fabricated documents don't override state water law or property rights. They measure the illegal drainage slope, write up 3 separate violations: stormwater diversion, boundary tampering, trespassing. Daily fines start rolling in. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Rebecca digs through public records, finds out HOA's been splitting contracts, drainage, mulch, trimming, under the legal bid threshold, all to the same company, Greenview LLC. Registered agent? Meline's sister. Same address, same last name. Classic family-run fraud. County launches a criminal investigation for procurement fraud, conspiracy, and misuse of funds. I honestly want to laugh, but I just feel bad for folks who trusted them. County surveyor comes out, installs permanent GPS markers, the real deal, no more amateur hour. At the next community meeting, Rebecca projects all the payment trails on a big screen. People are stunned. Some rip up their HOA badges. The board suspends Meline, and the county files felony charges. Residents start asking me for advice on their own land rights. After weeks of drama, I watch professional crews restore my property, removing mulch, fixing drainage, installing proper boundaries. The sun sets, hitting that old granite marker we dug up, older than the whole neighborhood. Stephen confirms on record, my land was never part of the HOA. Their claims, their votes, their view corridors, all void from the start. The fallout's still spreading. County implements new transparency laws for every HOA in the area. People are divided, some furious at Meline, some clinging to old loyalties. But as I stand by that boundary stone, watching the light fade, I'm hit with this truth. Property lines don't negotiate, laws don't bend to shouting, and the facts never needed a popularity contest to stand strong. So, what do you think? Did I overreact or stand my ground? Would you have fought or just let it go for peace? Drop your take in the comments. If you made it this far, leave a like. Say something kind or share the story with a friend who loves a good twist. And for now, I'll let the quiet win out here on the ranch, at least until the next surprise comes knocking.